Do you know that most of your intonation inconsistencies might not be related with how your tuning slide is settled? My name is Cesar Pimentel, and in this fourth episode of Tip of the Iceberg, I will bring you the discussion of intonation and how it is related with scales and arpeggios, those sections from the Max Schlossberg manuscripts. I cannot start this discussion with one of the main concerns that Maestro Arben had in his time. He said that when teachers gave manuscripts to their pupils or students, when it came to scales, they were very incomplete. So the students used a lot of their imagination to practice those scales topics, bringing as a consequence a lack of knowledge on those patterns, and then when it came to play super challenging passages from different pieces, it was almost impossible. So Arben, seeing the concern in the brass world, especially in the trumpet and cornets, he then put it a very complete and exhaustive topic on scales and arpeggios. Just after the dominance of the basics, the fundamentals, long tones, how can we move the ear better? How can we move our tongue better? How can we produce that tone, like the tone placement? All the stuff were needed to be mastered or in a relative comfortable dominance before getting into scales and arpeggios. And it's the same case with the Schlossberg manuscripts. It's not coincidence because he was influenced by Arben. So he put his scales and arpeggios just after the long tones and intervals. So he wanted us to dominate our ear, our tongue, and our embouchure before getting to those topics. And in the Max Schlossberg book, the arpeggios came before the scales. Makes sense because, for example, when you start doing the different variations of arpeggios, like let's name them, major, minor, dominant, diminished, augmented, like different versions, different you name it, everything how the arpeggio can be settled. Then when you start learning how to get in tune, how to get it super settled, and you start like practicing very hard those, then you start seeing that when it comes to scales, you can see those patterns. For example, if we gonna take this triplet chromatic scale, right? That first triplet from every first group, then that very first triplet, like I said, is gonna be a formation of a diminished arpeggio. When we take, for example, the 16 notes, that first 16 notes in each group are gonna form an augmented arpeggio. So it's really important to dominate these concepts so we can start working with patterns that we're gonna see in most of the pieces and how we can tune. That's when it comes to be an individual. But when it comes to play with the ensembles, you name which ensemble you want to play, it's really hard. The headache starts. The game is on. Because to get the people in the same page, like in getting a equal sound, a blended sound, then we start to play with variations of intonation. Let's gonna put, for example, this A is in 440, but it can be 439, it can be 444. no matter where it can be, you need to be able to put it in tune no matter how your slide is settled, because the tuning slide is a grade A, but we cannot see it as the heart of the intonation. We need to have a grasp, a really solid embouchure, a really solid air column, a really solid tongue placement, and the tone, the tongue is how the tongue is gonna work needs to be super clear, super solid. How the division comes to play, how we can then put that equal sound and subdivision in one note and then translate it to the entire scale, to the entire arpeggio, to the entire piece. So then after that, we're gonna start playing with the temperaments. Like we use equal almost most of the time in modern music, but there's other ones that we can discuss them in another video. But let's say if you're playing with other that is not the equal, you will see that, for example, your A, so we can put it as is in here. Someone is gonna play that A, and then your C sharp needs to be down the normal intonation that maybe you are used. That E needs to be a little bit higher than you're used to. And the G sharp as a seventh needs to be way down that you're used to. And this is something that doesn't need to be controlled here. Like, you don't have time to C sharp, like let's say the trumpet, like C sharp is down, E is up, and then like moving the tuning slide is gonna be a headache. So you need to have that dominance, obviously, because we are in the formation on getting this perfect, or not perfect but very solid every single day. This is where most of us are right now, like trying to figure out that. Once you figure it, once you have a really solid intonation, because you have a really solid tongue placement, you have a really solid how to move your tongue and how to, your embouchure is super effective and all that stuff, you can be welcome to the elite position. And then don't be surprised if you start winning auditions, if you start like getting far from them, because you are getting in that conversation already. So it's really hard, but there's no secret. Like sometimes we think like there's a secret to be the best in the world. There's no secrets. Like these books have all the tools you need. So we need to start being more meticulous. We need to start being more exigent with us. And that way, we can get into that conversation of elite musicians and getting the jobs we want, just because we have been earning it by our hard work. Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate your time, and if you haven't, subscribe in my YouTube channel. You can like them, this content on Facebook and Instagram. I'm gonna have the description down in the comment area and down in the description when it comes to the YouTube videos. Once again, thank you very much for being with me, and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.